Bro.
No, this is why I'm bringing it up. It's who establishes...
Bro, why'd they make this like Hans Zimmer
Hey Hassan, we know you're going to react to this video, so we want to invite you to be in an episode of Middle Ground. Maybe a one-on-one discussion with someone like Ben Shapiro. So it'll be great if you can announce your participation here first, and we can get Ben's attention. For now, enjoy the video.
What? Ben Shapiro?
Is you want to be able to introduce all ways of life.
Yes.
So would it be okay to include a book with a man having a relationship with a 12-year-old in that book? I know.
I didn't make problem. People said Ben Shapiro. This I Google who he is. My problem that I have with Ben Shapiro, I think my main problem with the guy, that you know what he is. He's what we call something that I hate a lot. He's deliberately obtuse about a lot of things. He'll be like, oh no, this doesn't exist. This doesn't happen. But he knows for a fact that it does. I think that's just fucking annoying. Anybody who does that, I say that's trash. I hate that shit. He does that a lot. Don't gaslight my ass. You know it's true.
A man having a relationship with a 12-year-old in that book. I know
See,
it's extreme.
no.
Hold on, but just hear me out.
Because now
Hear
you're
me out.
equivocating gay people to pedophiles.
No, this is why I'm bringing it up. Is who establishes the boundary?
The law.
Middle ground. Conservative parents is liberal teachers. Should parents ban topics from school? Yes. Here's one. I'm gonna say that.
Teachers have their own political agendas.
Yep. Bad ones do.
I think it's important to recognize that individuals will have political agendas. It's a natural thing, and people should understand their political views. I think where we need to differentiate it is whether a teacher should have a political agenda in a classroom.
But is your idea of a political agenda like these teachers telling students, this is who you should vote for, if you vote for these people, it's wrong.
Yes,
if you vote for
or
these
ridiculing
people, it's right.
the beliefs that they may have for political or religious reasons, and using their position of authority to mold the minds of everyone else.
You don't even have to tell them what to do.
When it comes to diversity or these new sort of terms, I am not for certain types of what so-called diversity when it comes to these new kind of topics. And
Can you expand upon that?
What?
What do you think
like
shouldn't be
critical
included?
race theory or some of the gender ideologies.
Critical race theory. Theory that is a cross-examination examination of how laws, social political movements, and media shape are shaped by the social considered and race. Oh man,
It's not diverse if you're
This is above my pay grade, and even if it was, you can't pay me enough to fucking.
teacher, the person
I don't know
of
what the fuck.
authority
For
in
me,
the
that's just
classroom,
words,
and
okay?
you
I'm
are
French. I don't know what the fuck
saying
I'm looking
this
at,
is
man.
how something should be.
I don't know what I'm looking at. I don't know what I'm
I
looking
come from
at.
an elementary perspective. I'm a first grade teacher, so the conversations we're having in class isn't about the socioeconomic nature of the world. But you know, we do talk about just what it looks like for different people in different communities. So when I talk about a political agenda, the
Yes, I always skim through and I skip some questions to chill out.
agenda that I have in the classroom is to create an environment where folks are able to, better understand from wherever someone's coming from.
The problem with that, and I understand the sentiment as a teacher, if a child is sitting there and they happen to be black and you're saying, well, black people such and such and such. I mean, you're really, that's not okay.
I do have to stop you there because that's not really said. It's not said black people do this.
Well,
it's not said
it's just an
Mexicans do
example.
this. Again,
Is this person bricked? Is she bricked in the brain?
it's trying to understand from multiple perspectives. That's not saying that every group aligns on the
Yes, she
same
is,
thought.
okay.
That's not saying
Makes
every
sense.
group is a monolith. What it's saying is, even if you disagree with somebody or you come from a different tradition or a different cultural background, those people's opinions can still be valid.
And the disagree step forward.
I'm gonna be honest, as a teacher, especially after COVID and all of that, I don't have time for a political agenda. I'm here trying to catch up with curriculum, pick up my readers that are, 2, 3 grade levels behind. I do not have.
Yeah. So an agenda has to be, okay, so a political bias is one thing. An agenda is when it's being made deliberately, right? That you want to ingrain something in somebody's head. So that's an agenda, right? But so a bias, because everything's political in life, right? But if you teach in a biased way, right? You're not really at fault because you don't really know what you're doing sometimes, right? but an agenda was bad. Okay, makes sense. I get
have
it.
time
I get
for
it.
that. I teach social emotional skills and all of that, but I'm not here to kind of,
It's
you need to
still
believe
bad,
this,
but I get it.
this, and that. No. If you're a good person, we're good. We're gravy. All good. You know what I mean?
But your definition, and sometimes this can happen and it becomes political, is what is your definition of a good person? Would you think that I'm a good person because I'm raising my kids to be with Judeo-Christian values and they live in a heterosexual, heteronormative home where we talk about how divorce is wrong, cheating is wrong. We have friends of the LGBT community, but we teach our
Nobody thinks I think you're a good person or a bad person just based on your beliefs. I don't think a lot of people. I don't think a lot.
children that-
Yeah, I guess people do that, but the common person doesn't do
from
that.
a
I don't
biblical
think.
perspective, that's not okay. Your definition
I
of
think your
whether or not
common
they are
person doesn't do
good
that.
could be very different than my definition of whether or not they are good.
To kind of clarify, in my classroom, if they're kind and they're not bashing anybody,
Most
judging
do.
anybody, kind
Fuck
of
no.
throwing out names, anything like that, they're good. It's not to say that topics like that don't come up in class. And I do open it up to discussion. I just keep it clear that this is a safe space. We don't judge each other. We're not going to bash each other. I understand you have your own experiences, but we're not going to come in with an agenda, you can say. And I feel like this idea of parents and their teachers of their political biases and all of this is just all of this fear that is clouding their judgment, clouding.
Except we have numerous, not just.
We have experiences.
Yeah,
not
my
just-
own child, first week of school, what pronouns you wanted to go by? I mean, not what's your favorite subject, how can I help you succeed academically?
Why not both?
Who's to say that wasn't a part of the questions too, you know? And I understand that question could stand out.
So maybe you don't understand that you're teaching politics.
But that's not politics. That's just like basic respect.
That's, I think that's
What?
beautiful.
But it's not to me.
That's beautiful. I
Not
think,
to me.
So
Why is she so mad? It's like one more thing. It's like, hey man, what do you want to be called? Hey man, when I call your name, what is it? It's not that.
I think you need
Not even a
your
problem.
idea that that's basic respect. What is the framework of that? Because I think that many teachers are going through these trainings, and the trainings are
not a
saying this is the
problem.
framework of how we operate in the classroom. But where did that idea come from? is
Because
what we're
it's based
getting
off, it's called a thing called data.
Did you
So
do
a
that
lot
in
of, no, hold on. A lot
2010?
of schools have research and development. And so the state also does. So in the state of California, we do research. So at the end of the day, my job is not just to make your kid to feel comfortable. I got 55 students. I got to make 55 students feel comfortable. And so when your kid comes home and tells you, well, Mom, the teacher said, what's my pronouns? Yeah, I did say what's your pronoun. I also said, what's your favorite TV show? What's your favorite food? I am a college
Sure,
professor
this-
now. I was previously
This
a
guy's
third,
got it
fourth
right,
grade
though.
teacher. Teaching third and fourth grade was horrible. Dealing with parents who thought their child was special and should be treated a certain way. It just wasn't doable. The constant complaining, the accusing people of doing things that are not going on in our classes,
This guy's
not
pretty
being
dank.
enough for their child. It was just too much. When
It's not his job makes them feel comfortable. It kind of is though. They're children sometimes, a lot of them in development, right? And then being comfortable, it matters. Yeah. So if you have to take an extra mile to make them people comfortable, it absolutely is their job. You're a dumb fuck.
parents don't have the knowledge of what goes on in
Maybe they get bullied. Maybe they get picked on. Maybe they get picked on by a bunch of things that they can't control, right? The least that they can have is parents when they get home that respect them, and their teacher who's a figure of authority that respects them as well. Dumb fuck.
Outside of a school, I think it's important for those parents to go to the school, and we as educators like our parents to be involved. You know, again, I have too many students to push an agenda. I do my job, what they pay me to do.
Discussion about sexuality doesn't belong in schools.
What?
I had a sex ed class when I was in third grade, and it was quite simple. Boys
Massive disagree with this prompt. It's fucking it does and should, dude. Almost everything that you can learn should be taught in schools. Okay, motherfucker. Some people don't know better. Dude, it's not that big of a fucking deal, dude. It's not. You guys act like it's hours and hours and hours, bro. This shit can take like 2 classes and know about this shit. It's not even that big of a deal. It's just not. If they do it right, and they do it objectively, they're chilling. There's no problem with
Boys
that.
go in this room, girls go in this room, they play a little video on a black and white TV. You know, you see the genitalia, and you're like, oh God, I got one of those. Cool, now we're figuring out what I am. The fear is these schools have.
Bro, I didn't know how to fucking put a condom on, okay? After my entire year was in high school. I was about to juice this girl up, dude, okay? I put this fucking thing on, and didn't have any blood in my fucking dick. I was soft like a fucking schnoodle, okay, motherfucker? Okay, dude? Yeah, maybe they should have just taught me that, man. Fuck, man.
No boundaries. If they do the classroom thing where they want to split kids up, how many genders are we going to do this? We're going to put boys, them, and then girls, and then how many rooms do we need to create for equality? Or are we really chasing equity? And I think parents now are beginning to realize we've got to stop this and create framework about sexuality, especially in a hyper-sexualized culture. My kids don't need to know at 6, 7, and 8 years old about different types of sexual acts. That's not appropriate.
People think that this is just...
Do it at the right time, the right way, at the right pace. It's not that fucking hard, man. These arguments are always based on the more extreme way of doing it, right? That would fuck a child up. This guy is a fucking delusional, and so are all these people that are always doing this shit. But what about if my child is 4-year-old and they tell him, do this and do that? Nobody does that shit, bitch. Shut up, man.
It's a one-off. It is in so many schools. Where I live in Florida, there was a poster going around where kids could text anonymous strangers to get information about sex. And on this poster in school, want to get laid?
Wow.
I mean, it's beyond, and there is a push for pleasure-based sex. Pleasure for who?
My oldest is 9 years old. She's in 3rd grade, and she's been exposed to things, and we do have conversations about it.
See, what's alarming is that this person is either a parent or a teacher, right? So she's some sort of authority for somebody in life. That's a problem.
That's a conversation
that
I should
somebody
be having with my 9-year-old daughter. If a 6th grader or a 4th grader is going to be prompted by a teacher, hey, what are your pronouns? As a parent, I should have a heads up about that because they're not even going to understand the question. And so I think that the idea that those conversations are started in the classroom instead of in the home is a big problem.
I have a family member who first day of 6th grade was asked for her pronouns, and she stood up and said that as a person of faith, she believed that God didn't make a mistake making her a girl.
Not because you're privileged, okay? And you're some married fucking white girl in some fucking suburban neighborhood, okay? With everything going right, okay? And you have your child and you can spend your time with them and talking to them. It's because you have that. Everybody else has that, okay? School is a place where people fucking learn and they build a foundation, okay? Motherfucker. So it's like, well, it's up to the parents to take it. Motherfucker, shut your dumb ass up and privileged Andy.
And so therefore she identified as she,
busting
her,
the
and
brain,
she was
man.
sent to the principal's office and punished for that decision. Thankfully, we haven't seen that broadly yet, but I think it's really damaging to take a shy, innocent 11-year-old child and make them stand in front of a classroom and determine something that they maybe haven't.
Who's going to teach these kids in tough neighborhoods? Who's going to teach them the basis of life and how life works and all these things, motherfucker? When they go back home to some dad who's in there and some mom on crack, okay? Who's going to teach them? Nobody! The school can do that, man. Holy shit!
I haven't even put that much thought into.
I like what you said, Sean, about how you were emphasizing, how a lot of parents today felt a goodness of the way that sexual education was conducted in the past. So there is an agreement that sexuality should be talked about in schools. The disagreement is whether it should just be purely heteronormative.
I'm not thinking extreme situations. There are some very tough neighborhoods in America. A crazy amount of them. That this is a reality for a lot of children. You act like this is like a 1 in whatever. It's a good amount. It's a significant amount.
Or if we should include all aspects of sexuality. I don't think that we're doing demonstrations to encourage children how to have sex, but this is something that we are trying to, again, educate and make them aware that this kind of things happen. And while you grow up, you're gonna have to experience somebody who's of this orientation.
Kids are naturally curious, and I think that what I'm hearing from you is I understand where you're maybe potentially coming from, but then where's the line between that sex education and introducing them to porn? Because porn can be educational. I was a virgin when I got married, and for years I was made fun of and heard, well, how are you gonna know if you don't try it? We hear that a lot too. If you haven't tried to kiss a girl to see if you like it or not, then how do you really know that you're not a lesbian? How do you really know that you're not gay if you've never slept with a guy? How do you really know that you want to be in a monogamous relationship if you don't sleep around? And when you start to introduce those questions to children, specifically prepubescent ones.
No. You let them be attracted to whoever they are attracted to, right? And you explain to them that if they feel a certain way, right, they're not wrong about it. That they're allowed to, and it's not a problem, and they're not broken or stupid for it. It's that simple. It doesn't say, oh, like this and like that. It's just like, okay, if I like this, I'm this and I'm not wrong for it. It's not that big of a fucking deal, dude.
They're going to naturally be curious, and their emotional and hormonal maturity is not there to be making those types of decisions that have lifelong impact.
Well, you're right, and a lot of them are learning at home, because just like you guys are saying, they come home to tell you things. Well, guess what? Those same kids come to school and talk about what you're telling them at home. You'll be surprised what I hear from students when I do a "What do you think?" Well, let me tell you what my mama and daddy did. And look, I don't have time. Your kid is not that important to me. Not to be rude, I got like 300 students. Your kid is no more important than the other 299. So I don't have time to sit up here and let me get you to think like me. I can't get my own 23-year-old to think like me. At the end of the day, what needs to happen, this is just my own personal take, parents need to start being parents, because a lot of times the teachers are the parents. They're parenting your kids because absentee parenting.
I think that this conversation is really interesting, and I think we need to step back and look at why we automatically assume that if we're telling our children about lesbians, gay people, queer people, why do we immediately equivocate that to telling them about what sex is? That can just be something as simple as, here is a book.
See?
In this book.
Boom, that's legitimate. And you can tell them about it when they're in high school or some shit, right? Say, if you do this, you should probably do that, man. If you're getting the juice, get a juicer protector, bitch.
There are two dads.
One thing at a time, man.
Has two dads. And kids, they can be inquisitive, and that's good, right? But also, like, they're gonna be like, cool, there's two dads.
All these kids know that there's a dad and a dad and a mom and a mom, and the culture is teaching all of that. So what we've noticed is that the curriculum in 8th grade and up is a lot deeper than that. It's more like, here is how you can have sex so you do not get pregnant.
Yeah.
Illustration of anal sex. That is the stuff that we're now reacting against. And that, sadly, is the trust that's...
What? What?
Being broken between teachers and parents.
Yeah, and I think we're moving into a conversation about comprehensive sex ed. What I am talking about is when I go into this classroom and I'm teaching kids, I'm not going to just teach kids material that is heteronormative.
Out of curiosity, it sounds like what you're saying is you want to be able to introduce all ways of life. Like these are the people that you will encounter with throughout life.
That is what I'm arguing, yes.
So would it be okay to include a book with a man having a relationship with a 12-year-old in that book? I know it's extreme. To include a book with a man having a relationship with a 12-year-old in that book. I know it's extreme.
No,
hold on, but just hear me out.
Because now you're equivocating gay people to pedophiles.
No, I'm not.
And no, that's not.
What's going on with this guy in his head? His little hamster. What's wrong with it?
That is not.
You're drawing a line that I'm not drawing.
And you're definitely crossing the line.
I agree. I agree. And this is why I'm bringing it up: is who establishes the boundary?
The law.
But what law? The law is.
But the law that's been signed in some
No,
states.
I'm sorry. No, there's laws against between adults having sex with children. Now, if a student had two parents who happen to be of the same sex, I'm not going to sit there and discount who they are in my class. I cannot do that. I sign a contract.
I would never ask anybody to uplift or suppress any child. I want there to be equality in the classroom. What I am saying is that there are factual instances where this is being taught in classrooms. I pulled my children out of public school because there are so many instances of this happening. I am a parent. I'm looking in the book bag every day. I'm checking in with homework. I am talking to the teacher.
Maybe I'm doing a stretch. It seems like she says, oh, I want everybody to be equal and have an equal chance, whatever. But it seems like she's kind of like, oh no, you cannot be teaching some guy about like boy sex or whatever the fuck. She's just dude, she's just yeah.
The principals and I'm involved,
cooked up,
but we
man.
didn't know that.
She's cooked up.
During class there were images shown of literal sex acts or describing certain situations that were inappropriate for young children.
We have a belief system at home, and the children want to break the boundaries of that belief system naturally because we're human beings. That's just what we do, and we're trying to confine them to a set of beliefs to say this is what is right in our home. And we're seeing the schools get funding from Planned Parenthood. They tried to pass a bill to put medical facilities to offer abortions in high schools here in California, and it's gradual, right? It starts with, this is a book that has two dads. This is a book with two moms.
Classic. It's the classic slippery slope. This is doing slippery slope.
And it's just a gradual curiosity that could leverage.
If they teach this at 15 years old, and they do that at 14 and 13 and fucking at 12, 10, 5 years old, 1 year old, 0-year-old. 0-year-old.
break
0-year-old.
away that child from
0-year-old.
the root
Oh
in the
man, this
home.
is
My
slippery
education
slope
growing up
Andes,
was
man.
fully public education. College is where I started getting a curiosity for.
This is this guy and his squad.
Nice argument, Senator. Why don't you back it up with a source?
My source is that I made it the fuck up.
For truth and education, and I think I'm so passionate about the education system today because it is obviously broken, but how do we fix it? Many of these progressive ideas in fixing it is just more empathy, sympathy, safety, but in reality, I see the public school system isn't actually accomplishing the goal of what education is, which is teaching critical thinking, how to understand, how to ask good questions, and then comprehend how to problem solve.
Okay, true, we have to teach them about life, okay? It sucks, okay, but... Dude. Teach them about life. Some people, motherfucker, they're out of school at 25. They don't know how to file taxes, motherfucker. Okay? It's another topic, but people don't know about normal shit that you have to do when they're out of school. Normal shit they don't know. It says you. I knew how to file my taxes when I was 15. 15, I knew how to file my taxes. I lived in school.
Affirmative action is racial discrimination.
There was a high school down the street from where I live in Los Angeles that encouraged all the kids of...
Bro. Guys, I was in high school and they told us I had to file a T45, what the fuck? I don't remember what it's called. Chat, what's the Quebec tax form? T something or the fuck? T4, T40? Yeah, T4. Yeah, I could do that in fucking high school, man.
...of color to apply for their school play, and only once...
Wait, hold up. Reel that back. They said what?
Affirmative action.
Affirmative action is a racial discrimination.
Is racial discrimination.
I don't know what the fuck that is, bro. Affirmative is a practice or policing of favoring individuals belonging to groups known have been discriminated against previously.
There was a high school down the streat from where I live in Los Angeles that encouraged all the kids of color to...
That's fine. There's absolutely no problem with that. I don't give a fuck about it. But if your take is against mine, it's short-sighted and you have not spent a singular amount of time learning about the topic. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
...apply for their school play. And only once all the kids of color received whatever positions they wanted, then the white kids could apply.
Some fucking groups, okay, some group of people, some races, ethnicities, okay, have been absolutely fucked on for the longest time, okay? They're at a severe disadvantages, right? Like in the places that they live, right? In the environment that they're put in, and the resources that they've had to develop themselves. They're at a massive disadvantage, okay? And then you're gonna have something that shows up, right? And they're like, dude, we're trying to develop these fields, and we're trying to develop these parts of our towns and our people, right? And out of 100 people that can apply for a job or for schooling, we're gonna reserve one spot for somebody who's black or who's, I don't fucking know, Asian or some shit like that. Oh my god! But my suburban white girl, she was disclosed from passing and she would have had the job. I don't give a fuck, bitch. If she didn't fucking do enough, if she didn't get the results with the tools that she was given, she didn't deserve the spot in the first place, dumb fuck. The person that took her spot probably had way less resources and was completely fucked on, right? And against all odds, did better than your dumb fuck privileged child. Holy fuck, it's that simple. It's not that hard. And these systems, okay, they're decent. It's not that they're great. So they're not fucking up anybody. So the fact that you think that you're being fucked on because you didn't get the spot, right? With the tools that you had, it's your problem. You weren't good enough.
That in color received whatever position.
How is that a cringe take? These things are barely an issue for anybody.
To apply for their school play. And only once all the kids of color received whatever positions they wanted, then the white kids could apply. That, in my opinion, is an example of discrimination.
Again, this is like some outlandish shit that she... Yeah.
Discrimination. The fact that we now have Harvard has black-only kids' dorms, that to me is segregation.
With affirmative action, we've seen with Harvard lawsuits and other things how it's backfiring and it's picking and choosing of
White equals automatically rich, black equals automatically poor. I don't think you understand. I don't think the concept. You don't understand the concept. These systems are made to help develop these certain areas of people, right? And these systems are pretty slim. It's not even a big amount. They're pretty moderate. Okay. And it gives them a chance. And I would trust me, any day of the week, I would rather have some guy from the fucking hood, okay? So from the fucking hood, okay, who buzzed his ass off alone and got 65% in his tests, right? Compared to some whatever privileged person who had like 70%. Why? Because that person that had all the tools, right, and it barely did better than the person who had absolutely nothing. And these systems are made so that a percentage of people, you guys don't get it, man. You guys are so privileged. It's fucking insane, man. I don't think you guys have ever been around poverty and around people that don't have the tools, people that don't have the resources to succeed, and they still do it. And you guys are fucking going around. You have everything in your face. You have everything for you that going on for you. Your parents might have a lot of money. You don't have to show for clothes and food, and you still find a way to fail, and then you'll blame these systems for why you failed. Absolutely fucking shameless, dude.
which minorities
So
cannot
shameless.
have success. It was done to try to create or make up for the wrongs of our past, but I think it's really backfired.
Yeah, it's really, excluding those excelling students in other races to fix the problems of the past, like you said. But I think the past, there were a lot of minorities that were excelling and doing really well.
Despite the
Bro, you guys think that some of these developing countries, most of these guys over there are just dumber, just dumb people. You think the countries that aren't big, that are people are just stupid? No, they are not. A lot of them, they don't have the tools. They don't have the fucking tools. They don't have the resources. Their country has like nothing. They can't even begin to get to they can't even compete, man. And some portions, sorry to say that, some portions of our countries are a little bit like that, man. They're still developing it, you fucking idiot. Like, holy shit.
foot of the
Exactly.
government, and like
Yes.
kudos to them.
Yes.
Incredible, strong human beings. And we shouldn't have that discrimination in any way anymore, but unfortunately it has become a discrimination against other groups.
Yeah, it's racism. It is racism. If you are taking a group of people and judging them on their race and setting them aside, giving them a special treatment, if you are uplifting a person or you are trying to suppress a person because of their race, that
Dude, imagine being so mad. Being so mad. Okay, you being a viewer kind of Andy because you don't agree with the fuck with the fuck.
it's
what's going on.
racism.
It's
So
like
we're
disaster.
supposed to believe that someone like Barack Obama's children are like struggling because they're black? Like, that's ridiculous. So I pulled my oldest daughter out a public school in Florida. We were having debates about pulling down statues and changing names, and some of the school board members and some of the activist groups were saying that black children could not learn because of names on buildings, and that is completely asinine to me. It basically says that because we have a higher level of melanin, somehow our brains don't work. And every other kid could walk into the building and get the education that they needed, but somehow not for you black children. And I found that to be just disgusting.
Okay, I'll put them before I go to bed.